You're in a meeting or at a dinner table, and someone drops a comment that isn't quite an insult. It's sideways. It lands with a smile. And suddenly, no response feels right. If you've ever frozen in that moment, this video is for you. Here's the part most people miss. Those comments don't work because they're clever. They work because they speed you up. The moment your tempo changes, the moment you rush to react, control quietly shifts. Slow the moment down and the script collapses. In a minute, I'll show you why every option feels like losing at first and what's actually being tested before you say a word. It's a Monday meeting. You're halfway through explaining an idea when someone leans back and says, "That's ambitious," with a smile that doesn't invite agreement. The room quiets, and you suddenly notice your hands more than your words. Your focus slips from what you were saying to how you look saying it. Or it's a family dinner. You're mid-sentence when a relative cuts in with, "Wow, sensitive today," and laughs. Forks pause, a few heads turn, and the pressure isn't really about the comment. It's about handling it correctly, right now, with an audience. In those seconds, nothing feels neutral. Snapping back seems risky. Explaining yourself feels needy. Laughing along feels like you just signed something against yourself. 3 reactions rush forward at once, and every one of them feels like a small loss. That is why the scene sticks. You are not reacting to a single sentence. You are reacting to being watched while you decide who you are going to be in the next 3 seconds. Sometimes you snap back faster than you planned. Your voice sharpens just enough for everyone to register it. The comment stops, but the focus shifts to you, and the room feels heavier than before. On the way home, you replay the moment and it sounds harsher in your memory than it did out loud. Other times, you explain. You slow down, add context, choose careful words. As you talk, the other person stays quiet, and somehow it feels like you're the one being evaluated, not them. You catch yourself overdoing it, but you still keep going, as if the right sentence could erase the discomfort. And then there's the quietest trap. You laugh lightly and let it pass. The conversation moves on, you stay easygoing, and everyone seems relieved. But later, replaying the scene, that laugh feels louder than the comment itself, like you joined in on your own dismissal. These reactions look different, but they do the same thing. They speed you up. They pull you into responding on someone else's timing, under someone else's frame. And once that happens, the script isn't yours anymore. Here's the uncomfortable reframe. Moments like this aren't testing your intelligence, your confidence, or your worth. They're testing how easily your internal state can be shifted. The instant your breathing changes, your tone tightens, or you start justifying yourself, something subtle gets communicated. It is not that you are wrong, it is that you are movable. And that's often all the other person was checking for. The room doesn't consciously track this, but it learns. It learns who can be nudged, who can be thrown off, who will carry the emotional weight after the joke lands. That's why these situations repeat. Not because the comment was brilliant, but because the reaction confirmed the pattern. You didn't fail the moment. You accepted the rules without realizing there was another option. And the first move out of that pattern isn't a better sentence. It's the one thing almost no one does, because it feels counterintuitive at first. Here's the first shift, and it's smaller than it sounds. You don't rush to respond. Not because you're scared, but because you're choosing the pace. Provocations rely on speed. They assume momentum will carry you into reaction before you've even named what you feel. So you slow the moment down by a second or two. A steady breath, a neutral face, eyes staying where they are instead of dropping or darting away. That small delay breaks the rhythm they were counting on and gives your nervous system a chance to catch up. Most people don't realize this, but energy leaks fast when it doesn't land. When nothing accelerates, the comment loses weight. The room often does its own work. Someone changes the subject, the moment softens, or the person who spoke fills the silence with a softer follow-up. And once the tempo is yours again, options quietly return. You can continue your thought, ask a calm question, name what happened, or decide this space doesn't deserve your presence. The important part is that you are no longer reacting on reflex. You are choosing from solid ground. From there, responses stop being about winning. and start being about placement. Sometimes the strongest move is simply continuing as if nothing important happened. Same tone, same direction. The comment fades into background noise, and the focus drifts back to the actual topic instead of the detour. Other times, a calm question resets the frame, not to challenge, but to clarify. Short, neutral. The kind that asks the other person to stand next to what they just implied. When someone has to say their intention out loud, the edge often disappears. And when patterns repeat, clarity beats cleverness. You name the action, briefly, without explanation. You say what just happened, not who they are as a person. Or you leave, not dramatically. Just enough to remove your attention from the game. Exit is not weakness, it is access control. You are not responsible for being available to every performance disguised as a joke or a concern. Techniques help, but they still require effort. There's something deeper that makes all of this feel lighter. At the deepest level, this stops being about what to do and becomes about how you see. Comments like these rarely describe you. They describe what the other person is managing inside themselves. Comparison, insecurity, unfinished tension, looking for somewhere to land. When you notice that, something shifts. The words stop feeling like a verdict and start feeling like information. Not information you need to act on, just information you can register and move past. You stop asking, what does this say about me? And start asking, what does this reveal about them? It was never about having thicker skin. It was about not confusing someone else's coping strategy with your value. Once that clicks, staying calm stops being a performance. It becomes natural because you're no longer fighting to prove something in every moment. You're simply choosing which moments deserve your energy. So here's the quiet conclusion to all of this. Those moments were never asking you to prove your worth. They were asking for a reaction. And the moment you stopped answering speed with speed, the game lost its grip. It was never about saying the perfect thing. It was about keeping your tempo, your direction, and your attention where you chose to place them. When you do that, other people's attempts at control stop feeling personal because they stop working. So let me leave you with this. Think about the last time a comment lingered in your head longer than it should have. What was the first impulse you felt? To explain, to laugh, or to react? And next time, we'll go deeper into why some people rely on these subtle power moves in the first place and how to recognize them before they even reach you.